Welcome back, it's Paul Maglev here, with that double upload I promised today. And I really wanted to do this in a sort of vlog format, because I feel that it warrants being in its own video, and it doesn't need the distraction of gameplay footage spliced in between it, or anywhere near it, to be quite honest, because this week, something very serious came up. It's not the sort of thing that ends the world. It's the sort of thing that basically just changes the way I see it. And it's not the sort of realization that I'm in the Matrix or something. No, it's the realization that I'm just about allergic to everything. Well, not almost everything, but everything that we take for granted in our daily lives that isn't somehow related to a fruit or a vegetable. Though, on this testing sheet, there are some fruits and vegetables I can't eat. But that's beside the point. The point is, I went to the allergist. They tested some samples on my back to see which ones would get inflamed and turn red. A natural response to an allergy, because my normal doctor wanted me to double check to make sure there weren't other allergies in my food that I had. And as it turns out, I actually do. And quite a few of these are actually very startling. Apparently, I'm allergic to things that I didn't think I was allergic to. Like mustard. I love mustard. So no, I don't have any more mustard in my diet anymore. That's not good. And there were some that were obvious from the start, like the allergy to wheat. At first we thought it was a sensitivity when I was growing up, because a lot of Aspergers have wheat allergies and those kinds of things, but it's so much more complicated than that now, and I just realized that this Monday, what was it, September, who cares? The point is, I realized there's a lot more foods that I'm allergic to, and that's going to substantially restrict my diet. And what's more, what we tested for wasn't necessarily everything under the sun, because there wasn't enough room on my back to scratch little samples into the grid, because apparently that's how they test allergies. They take a little sample and they scratch it under your skin, and then they see in 20 minutes whether it turns red and swells up on the little bit of skin that got scratched. And it's kind of surprising that I was allergic to so many things, and something tells me there's going to be a lot more foods that I'm going to realize that I'm allergic to as well, because I used to just think that the sort of general intestinal discomfort was just inherently part of who I was, but apparently it's not. It's not, although it's partly due to anxiety. What I didn't know is that a lot more of it has to do with food than I expected. And it's the kinds of foods like wheat and rice that I happen to be allergic to that make me feel like I've been kind of just displaced out of the Stone Age for some reason, because those are the staples of civilization. The domestication and cultivation of grasses so that we can eat their grains in the form of delicious breads and starches and all that other good stuff that now I won't be able to appreciate anymore. A lot of the gluten-free stuff happens to be made from rice, and now that I know that I have a reaction to it, that's kind of disappointing. It's going to substantially restrict my diet much more than I ever would have hoped. And it's kind of disheartening, to be quite honest, because it makes me feel like I'm sick. Not the kind of sick where I'm having hay fever, not the kind of sickness where you have some sort of disease that can be cured by a doctor, like cancer. I've already dealt with that. That's in my past. It's not the kind of sickness that makes a person into Jason Voorhees or that sort of thing. It's the kind of sickness that just slowly eats at you, and if you don't address it, it's going to cause a prolonged stress response. And from what I can understand, when your body is stressed enough, this compromises your immune system and makes you more likely to have certain diseases that you can contract or that just develop in your body on their own, which isn't good. So I have to avoid things that stress my body out, and it turns out I've got a whole list of it. And strangely enough, I'm allergic to nuts. Go figure. I always thought there was something strange about nuts. Now I feel like I really shouldn't be telling you these things, because then someone's going to secretly try to slip them into my food, sprinkle little almonds here in my salad, or something, make my mouth feel numb or something stupid like that. But most of the issues are intestinal and just make me feel uncomfortable and cramped and not able to think straight. And it's because so many things that we take for granted as people, like peanuts, which I'm also allergic to, and other legumes, but because so many of the domesticated foods I happen to be allergic to makes it difficult for me to make the right food choices, because now I have a diet that's even more restricted than it normally would be for anybody. I feel like it would have been just easier to stick an IV in me and actually get my nutrients through there, but apparently that's not a good thing. And apparently some people can only last a few years on that, allegedly. Though I did read an article saying otherwise, but that's beside the point. But it would be a miserable existence to not be able to eat food. And we need to make sure that I'm able to eat the foods that make me feel comfortable on the inside, instead of feeling like a washing machine with a giant rock thrown in it. Because that's basically what certain foods do to my intestines, and that's what it feels like. And I just don't know how to explain how much this changes my entire life. It's something that not even a single vlog is able to completely explain. It's something that speaks volumes. Libraries full of books that basically go along the premise of some of the things I take for granted I can't eat anymore, or at all. That I wasn't able to eat these things in the first place, and I didn't know better. But it explains why I felt so uncomfortable growing up, I guess. At least, aside from the other things that I've got. I thought having anxiety disorders was enough, but to be allergic to a lot of things that have been domesticated other than meat products, that's not good, because I can't just rely on meat. And I can't just rely on the most obscure forms of starch. And I think it's particularly frustrating because for the next 2 weeks, I have to basically cut back my diet in such a way that I can't eat even more ingredients, but still maintain the same input of calories and volume of insoluble fibers, because I can't lose weight, I can't get constipated. I need to be able to stay fit and healthy throughout the rest of the semester. And I feel that's going to be exponentially more difficult, knowing that most of the foods that people just appreciate just aren't things I can have. I feel there's a lot of expletives to kind of describe this situation, but to say that I am SOL is not the appropriate way to put it, because there's still hope, because 2 weeks from now I can reintroduce certain types of food into my diet to double check the test results, and I can broaden the horizon to see if there's anything else out of the ordinary that causes some sort of intestinal reaction that is allergic in nature. And if you're wondering if there's going to be some sort of compromise in my ability to churn out videos online or do such simple things as homework, now you know why. It's because most of the things that I eat, I can't eat for the next 2 weeks. I've already gone through the first week. I only got 1 more week to go, but considering that thing I ate today, we might have to reset it because it made me feel very uncomfortable. But my point is, I'm still going to be making an effort to do whatever I can to be comfortable with myself and still be able to move forward with my daily life. It's just, I thought my life was difficult enough. I just didn't need another burden on my shoulders, another thing just to weigh me down. But apparently I'm just gonna have to keep chugging along, because that's what I do. It's practically the motto of my channel, to not give up. And I can't give up now. I can't give up ever. Really, to be quite honest, because what's the point in that? I can't quit life. Are you serious? Are you serious? Because, like, you only live once. I can't squander this opportunity. I just know it's going to be a lot more challenging than I thought, because I just happen to be, in essence, playing life in hard mode. And I didn't want to. The challenge of life itself is ramping up, and it's not just from an academic standpoint, it's also from a personal standpoint. So don't be too surprised if I'm not able to reliably do the things that I've been doing for quite some time, because I'm currently dealing with an unintentional sort of sandbagging, I guess you can say. There isn't much else I can really describe at this point in time unless I actually write something scripted and proofread it and read it out loud, and I don't want to have to do that. But I don't feel like having to describe things in a manner that's improvised, like shooting straight from the hip, because I know it's not easy for me to shoot from the hip, per se, but it's something that sometimes we just have to do. But yeah, this is my attempt to do that, to kind of explain some things that are happening in my life that might get in the way of the things that I normally do. I wish the best for all of you who can continue to eat all your delicious fluffy pancakes every day, if you actually do that thing. Apparently some people skip breakfast. I just think, why would you do that? But my point is, just to make the most of what you've got right now, because it could certainly have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse. I feel like that wasn't the note I wanted to end on, but it's going to be the note I'm ending on anyway. So I guess I'll see you all next time, and until then, take care, stay awesome, stay true to yourself, and remember to never give up. I just realized I'm allergic to just about everything, and I'm still not giving up. So thank you all for watching. Bye, everyone.